50 crores in cash and counting found in the residences of an aide to the minister who's been sacked. But can Mamata Banerjee totally disown her number two? Is the TMC's image now dented beyond repair? Is this simply the tip of the iceberg? Will many more names emerge? Can Mamta stave off the damage? Some of the questions we'll raise. Shehzad Poonawala, the BJP's evergreen spokesperson, is with me. Jayanto Ghoshal, consulting editor and someone who's tracked Bengal for years, is with us. Dr. Shashi Panja, West Bengal minister, with us. And Justice A.K. Ganguly, former Supreme Court judge, is with us. So we'll get a Kolkata perspective there. But first to you, Shashi Panja, do you accept that it is not easy for Mamata Banerjee or indeed the Trinamool Congress to disown someone who only till the other day was your senior minister, head of your disciplinary committee, someone who was seen as a right-hand man or certainly very close to Mamata Banerjee? Are you really telling me that all of this was happening without Mamata Banerjee's knowledge?
No, let me tell you this. First of all, good evening to all. That I think Mamata Banerjee has set a precedence, because what she has done, nobody else in the country has done. There are allegations of corruptions against various political leaders, not only economic, but there are also allegations of sexual assault, rape, etc. You know that. Kuldeep Singh Sangar and all that, I'm not getting it. There are also allegations of minister's son mowing down farmers, but no actions were taken. So she has set a precedence that she will not spare, be it a minister, be it a very important portfolio holder, or be it somebody down the tire, you know, somebody like a panchayat member, or even a basic portfolio holder or a worker. So that's the strong message, and she has set a precedence.
But is it too little too late, Dr. Panja, as the opposition says? Here is Arpita Mukherjee, the aide who's arrested on Saturday, then the money stumble out over the weekend, then a second haul on Wednesday makes it virtually impossible for the minister to continue. Mamata Banerjee could have acted months ago. The Kolkata High Court had put out strong observations on an education scam in November last year. Why did it take so long for her to act, is the question the opposition is asking.
Mr. Sardesai, the basic thing is that matter is also sub judice. So the matter, the CBI investigation, and remember, he appeared for interrogation. CBI had called him twice. He did appear. He didn't kind of shy away from it. So the interrogation or the investigation was on. Further on now, of course, the ED has stepped in and the arrest, etc. So the point is this, that the ongoing investigation was on, but what we said right from the very beginning was, we don't know the aide. We yet don't know the aide. It's his friend or his acquaintance. We are not associated with the acquaintance. For that matter, even the acquaintance has said, I am not related to Trinamool Congress. I think she said it on the first day itself. And
are you telling me seriously that I am expected to believe that Mamata Banerjee had no idea what was going on with her key aide?
No, this is very disappointing, because Mamata Banerjee herself is very disappointed. I mean, it is something which is very incredulous and difficult to assimilate, that he was so close to the government, or he was so close to the party, and such things could happen. But nobody can be spared. That is what Mamata Banerjee has said, however close you are. So I wouldn't say, I mean, then in that case, Rajdeep, I just have a question, because internal security of the country is also very important. Mehul Choksi and Nirav Modi and all flew away, Vijay Mallya. So we have to really question the central intelligence too.
No, ma'am, let's not draw a parallel between Mehul Bhai, Nirav Modi, who are businessmen who are later on found to have swindled the system, from someone who was seen by many as the senior minister, who's got all these crores of rupees with his aid. All of this raises question, but listen to what Mamata Banerjee told me just earlier this month, because at the Kolkata conclave, East India conclave of India today, I had asked her about this recruitment scam, jobs for cash. Listen to what she said. I forgot to mention there's an education recruitment scam that your ministers allegedly
involved in. You cannot say it is scam. No. You talk about BHAPM first. You talk about UP first. It is somebody alleged, BJP party and CPM party.
They've alleged that that Trinamool Congress workers have been given benefits in teacher recruitment.
It is not.
The Kolkata High Court has intervened.
It is not. Calcutta High Court, what they give verdict, I will not mention anything about the court verdict, because you know better than me how court can protect country and how we can also protect court. So I am not going to quarrel with them. We know better than. Even I should not say, but if sometimes come, I will plead that. The matter is that it is on investigation process. Let the investigation process is over. Before that, you should not go for any media trial. And that is not legally permittable also.
So just 4 weeks ago, she says you should not go in for a media trial, wait for the investigation to conclude. Now, Jayanto Ghoshal, the investigation has shown these large mounds of cash with Arpita Mukherjee. Am I to seriously believe that Mamata Banerjee had no clue what Partha Chatterjee was doing?
Rajdeep, I am completely convinced that Mamata Banerjee didn't know.
Didn't know.
Because, you know, I tried to understand. I was in Calcutta. Yesterday was also, I talked to her. She was so upset because, you know, when court was giving this sort of hearings and investigation was on, there are two schools of thought. One school of thought inside TMC that immediately you should take action, and in future otherwise it can be more disturbing situation. So the preemptive action should be taken. But why Mamata Banerjee took time, that doesn't mean that she was supporting Partho, but she was trying to understand, because she never believed this sort of. When she saw the photograph, she was shocked.
When she saw the photographs, she required the photographs of those crores of rupees to wake up to the reality. The reason I'm asking you this, Jayanto, she's a supreme leader. She controls the party. She's the numero uno. If I am the numero uno, I don't know what my number 2 or 3 are doing under me. No idea at all. Even though these questions have been raised by the Kolkata High Court as a CBI investigation, surely Mamta would have tried to find out who is Arpita Mukherjee all these months. Suddenly she appears out of the blue.
No, she tried to find it out because she didn't know that what was the relationship with Partho and Arpita. This is completely personal relationship. And Arpita, she is not nobody in Trinamool. Trinamool, you ask any TMC guy that who is Arpita, nobody knows Arpita. But Partho's relationship with Arpita was there. And now when Mamta saw that the information that Partho made a property deal with Arpita in 2013. So it's
you're saying she had no clue who Arpita Mukherjee was?
No, she didn't know. She didn't know.
She didn't know. Okay.
She didn't know.
So, you know, as I said, it stretches incredulity at times to believe that the top leader didn't know what was happening under her nose. But either way, Shehzad Poonawala, she's acted. The fact is, she has not just removed him as minister, she's sacked him from the party. So she's taken tough action now. Do you concede that that is what needs to be done? I mean, we've had the case, as we've seen at the center, when it came to Mr. Teni. His son was also serious charges made. But the minister was able to disown himself and he continues in office. At no stage did your government act against the minister. Here you've got at least Mamata Banerjee not just sacking him as minister, removing him from the party. Is that enough for you?
First of all, I'm not in the business of making necessities into a virtue, as is being done on this panel by at least two panelists. Let me first put a factual intervention. Mr. Ghoshal, senior journalist, I respect him a lot, said Mamata Banerjee did not know Arpita kaun hai. This was a story broken by India Today, and let me show you the audio and the video of Mamata Banerjee praising Arpita for her good work.
We have seen.
Was broken by India Today. Whether she knew what Arpita Mukherjee was up to.
Let me first
there are hundreds of
Rajdeep,
people
this
who
can't
will be
be
there.
every night I come on the show, you don't allow me to complete and make a continuous statement.
Because I'm asking you a question, respond to the question.
I'll respond to that also, but please let me make my statement, my friend. Then you ask me counter, because Shashi got a chance, Jayanto got a chance.
Please.
Apart from that, there are pictures of Ms. Arpita on the official platform of TMC, and she was also seated on the 21st July program in the first row. But I'm not saying go by the pictures or even by this video where Mamta is praising Arpita. I am saying go by other evidence of the links of Arpita with TMC and with Partha. From the and I wouldn't call it tip of the iceberg, I would call it tip of the mountain of cash, TMC in short. The tip of the mountain of cash, there was an envelope of the West Bengal Education Department. There were deeds linking Partha and Arpita, or misdeeds one would say. There were admit cards in her house that were found, and then there were mounds of cash and gold coins, etc. that were found. Clearly, there was no option left with Mamata Banerjee but to sack. It may have started with Partha, but does it end with Partha? Let me make two important points in this. First of all, ignorance is no better than indulgence. Either Mamata Banerjee was indulging this corruption, or she is so incompetent that this kind of scale of corruption was taking place and she was ignorant about it. That shows that she is even worse as a performer in the Chief Minister's chair, and she doesn't deserve to be there. Let me tell you why. Because the Calcutta High Court Division Bench, by the way, in May 2022, which she said rejected, she had rejected that it's a scam, had said it is categorically, it's a public scam. Secondly, they had cancelled the admission of Ankita Adhikari, who is the Minister of State, Paresh Adhikari's daughter. Now, I want to ask Shashi Panjaji, when the High Court cancelled the application and the appointment of Ms. Ankita Adhikari and told her to return the salary, what action have they taken on Mr. Paresh Adhikari? Point number one. Point number two, I give her credit for one thing. Yes, she has done one thing right, Ms. Mamata Banerjee, that she has institutionalized corruption and corrupted every institution. This is an institutionalization of corruption where Mati Manush has been replaced by money, money, money. From cut money to syndicate to Rose Valley scam to this kind of SSC scam where teacher and those taught both were defrauded. Look at the scale of this scam that teacher जो बनना चाहता है और जिसको सीखना है वो दोनों उसमें fraud में आए. I want to ask simple question to her. Once, first, did she not know of such a scale of corruption taking place despite the High Court order? Secondly, the High Court order clearly cancelled the appointment of Ankita Adhikari. What action have they taken on Ankita Adhikari's father, who is continuing to be a minister? Thirdly, she is comparing it to all these things. Let's go by one standard, that court comes up with orders. The court has come up with an order against Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi. They play victim card. The court has come up with an order against Satyendra Jain. Even yesterday one order has come. They play a victim card. Court has come out with an order on SSC scam. They play victim card. She, on your channel and your show, has questioned the judiciary. Did she not say that judiciary comes under pressure?
Okay, you made your point. Let Shashi Panja respond. Shashi Panja, as I said, before I come to Justice Ganguly, I'll give you a chance to respond to what Shehzad Poonawala has said. I come back to it. Let's look at the chronology. The chronology clearly suggests that this investigation began more than 8 months ago. The CBI was brought into the case through the Kolkata High Court. There was clearly, therefore, reason to believe that a prima facie case existed. If the Chief Minister was serious about cracking down on corruption, she should have launched her own investigation. She could have easily found out what was happening under her nose. That's the problem. What she's done today, good that she sacked Partha Chatterjee. It's a strong message. But she could have done it much earlier. She could have saved herself all this embarrassment.
Rajdeep ji, if it's your question, it's fine. But Shehzad Poonawala was saying something about the incompetence and the indulgence. You know, those fingers also are then on the same grounds are pointing at Honorable Prime Minister of the country. Okay, when we talk about central intelligence failure, when such people ran away with so much of money. So be very careful when you point fingers at somebody. Those fingers are even being pointed at Honorable Prime Minister.
Can I intervene?
Unfortunately, no, you can't. You can't. I didn't button, so you
can't. Are there two anchors
now,
in this?
you know, this is... Now, wait.
Now that's enough.
No,
yes, go ahead.
So much of,
no, Dr. Panja.
This is
one of the failures of demonetization.
It's
not... No, you can accuse...
Ankita Adhikari.
Please take it. No, forget it. I have so many questions to ask you. You have so many answers to give. You won't realize. Can you answer the question on Subendu Adhikari? So you can't. You have evaded on all. Sure. No, you can't, because he's not even been interrogated once. Investigated, even called for the investigation even once. But on a similar complaint, Firada King, Subrata Mukherjee, late Subrata Mukherjee, they were all called and they were also jailed. But you know, we don't have a washing machine like you have. But look at the outcome, Rajdeep ji, of demonetization. Somebody promised in 2016 that we will do away with all the black money. Now look at this. What is this money then? Of course it is investigating. The person will not be, we have not even defended him. Whoever it is will be caught. But where does this money come from? So what is the output eventually of demonetization? What have you curbed? Black money. Where have you curbed black money? So your failures You remember the line? We used to stand in the line to collect our own money from our
Dr.
own banks.
Dr. Panja, surely you're not now going to suggest that because this corruption has been caught on massive scale in Bengal, we must blame demonetization for it. For God's sake, let's not do that.
We're not blaming that. We are just saying, look at this. You know, every drug has a side effect. Look at this side effect. I mean, this has also emerged. And I stand by the statements we've given in the past on your show, on the TV debates that we took part in from 23rd. We are not defending anybody. Mamata Banerjee has said she's zero tolerant to any kind of corruption. We stand by it. I mean, we are not going to be covered.
No, one minute.
It's time for BJP to take some action on Subhendu Adhikari. It's not a washing machine.
You know, while he will raise Paresh Adhikari, you will raise Shubhendu Adhikari, and I'll come. No, 1 minute, Mr. Poonawala. Justice Ganguly has waited patiently.
I understand.
Give me 5 seconds. No, I won't give you the 5 seconds till Justice Ganguly first comes in. Justice Ganguly, you're watching these images over the last few days in Bengal, 40-50 crores. You know, general perception in Bengal is a poor state. Here on a teacher recruitment scam, someone has made crores and crores of rupees. How do you respond to it? As a jurist, as someone who's seen public life over the years, is there a sense of disgust, anger? How do you respond?
Well, personally speaking, I am shocked, and as an Indian and as a Bengali, I am ashamed. I'm ashamed because of the mess of corruption in which the state is in. There is no scope for any argument. I mean, how can you defend it? In democracy, there is a thing called collective responsibility. It is also engrafted in our constitution that the cabinet is collectively responsible to the people. Now, is it possible that one man will do this kind of monumental corruption single-handedly without the knowledge and concurrence of others in the cabinet? Well, I can't believe it. The common people also don't believe it.
That's an important point you're making. That's an important point you're making, that even the common... You're making an important point that even the common people of Kolkata don't believe it. They don't believe that this was just Partha Chatterjee.
In democracy, common people's perception is important. It's very important.
Is that the reason, Jayanto Ghoshal? Is that the reason that... Just a minute, be patient. Jayanto Ghoshal, is that the reason why Mamta Banerjee responded in the way that she did? She recognized that the common people's perception was going to drift away from her because of these large wads of cash that were being seen. In a poor state like Bengal, when you see this, it only confirms that our politicians are making crores of rupees.
Perception sometimes is very important in politics. Now she...
Is that the reason why she acted today in the way that she did?
Absolutely. I am asking one question, that this money, it is for the education scam. Enforcement agency also has not come to the conclusion. This is the cash of Arpita, Partha Arpita relationship is there, but the education scam is a different story. You are connecting, we are all connecting that this education scam and this money. But this money is with Arpita. Arpita is nobody in Trinamool, and she may say that it is Partha's, I am the custodian of Partha's money.
Shehzad is saying she's been seen at Trinamool Congress functions.
How, Sahajat?
She's been seen at the Trinamool Congress functions.
I am asking Sahajat that this money, it is for the education scam money. Enforcement agency has not come to the conclusion, and you have come to the conclusion. So it's a political conclusion. But not the judicial.
Okay, interesting point, because Shehzad Poonawala, be patient. The fact is, the monies have been found by the Enforcement Directorate. The same Enforcement Directorate which Dr. Shashi Panja says will not investigate our Shubhendu Adhikari.
Yeah.
You know, the fact is that the moment you move, you see the reason why the BJP is shouting and screaming becomes weakened is because those who were in the Trinamool Congress and joined you, whether it's Mukul Roy, whether it's Shubhendu Adhikari, the moment they join you, they become clean.
Okay.
That's the washing machine. You have become a washing machine. Therefore, you can't take the moral high ground.
Rajdeep, I request you to just give me some uninterrupted
Yes.
time. I'll complete in 45 seconds.
45 seconds.
Yeah, 45 seconds. You know, this problem is yesterday itself the Supreme Court has vindicated the ED, yet we have people playing the victimhood card and saying that Bhrashtachar hamara Shishtachar, or agar karoge jaanch to ho jayega Atyachar or karenge Durachar. This kind of argument I've never heard. If madam has so much proof against Suvendu or anybody else, go to a court of law. Surely the courts are not biased. Go to a court of law, expose us, and tomorrow, Rajdeep, you can do a debate that, look, Shahzad Poonawalla, your agencies weren't doing the job they were required to do. The court of law has ruled on that. For 8 years, they've not been able to get one instance of that. They come here and they cry. And by the way, on your show, in that stage, Mamata Banerjee, after the High Court said, yes, there is a scam, she came out and said, there's no scam. She's the Chief Minister. After the High Court came out with the verdict, which wasn't controverted by the Supreme Court, what right does she have to come out and say, no, there was no scam? She should have at least said, in all honesty, look, there is a scam as per the High Court. We should investigate, and till the time the names are clear, I will ask my minister to step down. But she came and said, judiciary is biased, this is biased, whole world is against me, planets are against me. This kind of attitude by the Chief Minister is kosher for them.
No, one minute. When there were 1 minute, Mr. Poonawalla, 1 minute. When there were land and mining scams against your Chief Minister, Mr. Yediyurappa,
right,
did you ask him to step down?
Very
did you
good.
say that pending inquiry, Mr. Yediyurappa will step down? Hammam mein, I keep saying it, I know you don't like it. Hammam mein sab nange hai, only the difference is the amount of nange, but go ahead.
Let me respond to this by setting, look, I say something.
Did you sack Yediyurappa?
I am answering that, Rajdeep. I can't say yes or no. At least on your show, we are on more.
Sir, did you sack Mr. Yediyurappa?
I am saying, I'm giving you an answer. I can't say yes or no answer to that, no? See,
it's a yes or no answer. Why did you not sack Mr. Yediyurappa?
Because I have to give the reason also. Will you hear my reason?
Yes.
Rajdeep, the basic standard can't be that Shashi Panja makes an allegation on me, I make an allegation on her. We'll keep the basic standard as a court of law verdict or naming or observation or something of that standard, right? Now, there's a court of law verdict against the SSC scam. There's a court of law verdict against Satyendra Jain. There's a court of law verdict against Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, which has not been challenged and accepted as a challenge by the High Court and Supreme Court. On the basis of that, we are demanding the resignation. If there is a court of law verdict against Yediyurappa, by all means, they should come and tell us to apply the same standard. Let me complete. But now I understand why Shashi Panja ji was so disturbed when demonetization took place. ये सारा कुछ पैसा जमा करना था, इसीलिए तो ये डिस्टर्ब थे demonetization से. And lastly, madam, Paresh Adhikari has been named in the High Court order that his daughter's appointment was illegal. If you are setting such high standards of kattar imandari like your friend in Delhi, please tell me, pray, that why haven't you taken action on Paresh Adhikari? Okay, his daughter's appointment was cancelled.
Shashi Panja, you know, wouldn't the better way be to have a complete cleanup of the TMC? Because it's not just this case. You've had in the past now, both with the so-called syndicates that have existed, the Narda Sarda scam, several Trinamool Congress leaders at both state, district level, the likes of Anubrato Mandal, who've had serious charges made. Why is it possible for Mamata Banerjee to clean up? Or is she just doing damage limitation by sacking today Partha Chatterjee? Is this just pure damage limitation? As Justice Ganguly said, people are angry and disgusted.
Yes, of course, people will be angry and disgusted. We are not, even denying that, or we are not even trying to obviate that, or not even trying to hide that. Mamata Banerjee is the face of Bengal. First, we have to understand that. And if somebody is trying to think that they could not win Bengal and they can malign her, that is where we step in and we are vociferous about this. Now, she has not compromised with any kind of corruption. So you have to believe this. It will go on record that she has not told anybody to be corrupt and that she was unaware of it. This is also second. Now, Shahzad Poonawalla, I need to correct you on two things because you keep mentioning it in various shows. One is that lady who was on the 21st July, that is not a 21st July program. You are wrong. That is a blood donation program elsewhere, unconnected. And secondly, those Durga Puja celebrations, we have celebrities all over the place inaugurating. And Mamta Banerjee said, are you an actress from Orissa? Oh, you act in Orissa films. Oh, that is what she appreciated. And very I would say very
said you're doing a
simply,
good job.
she blessed her. So don't use
She
those
blesses
two
everybody.
instances because
This is a
you are
blessing.
misleading.
No, 1 minute.
No, that's
Shehzad
because you
Poonawala,
used
that
it,
is a
that's
very
right.
dangerous argument to take, because tomorrow we will ask in the context of Prime Minister at his residence calling someone Mehul Bhai.
Very
let's
good.
not
I knew
go
you
into
would come to that.
No,
No,
let's not
get
go
into
into that.
that.
Let's
No,
not,
I'm
because
happy to
these
get
are
into that.
dangerous. I want to focus on the hard facts. The hard facts are very clear. Mounds of cash have been found, and they've been found with an aid of someone who was a close aide of the Chief Minister.
Rajdeep.
Therefore, disowning Partha Chatterjee, it's one thing sacking him, but the stench of what has happened will remain for a long time. And therefore, Mamata Banerjee will need to do much more to prove that the Trinamool Congress has nothing to do with it. Because Jayanto Ghoshal, even her nephew, Abhishek Banerjee, has the ED at his door. Last month, Abhishek's wife has been questioned. Somewhere, is it that Mamata Banerjee now feels encircled? Could this be that Mamata Banerjee is going to have to do much more to prove that she is above it all, that she has nothing to do with what's going on around her?
But surely, Rajdeep, one question you should ask is why did she give a clean sheet after the High Court verdict?
Okay.
Why did she do that?
Rajdeep,
Is that
Rajdeep
responsible
ji,
on a constitutional position holder?
Rajdeep ji.
Please ask Ms. Panja that. Please ask her
No,
what
no.
action on Paresh Adhikari. She's running away
You
from
will
these two
not-
fundamental
you will
questions
not
that we
be able
all
to
through the
win
debate. I request
Bengal.
you.
You will not be able to win Bengal like this.
This
You
is
know,
not
no, it's
about
not about
winning
winning
an
Bengal.
election, it is about
No, no,
propriety,
Rajdeep,
it is
see,
about our
Rajdeep,
children, our youth,
please
our
try to
employment
understand
that
the
should have been given to
frequency
people who are
and
meritorious, not
timing,
money-minded.
The frequency
Okay,
and timing of
let
the
me,
ED
okay, you
visit.
made your
The
points, ma'am.
Sharda
Very,
investigation is still
very quickly,
happening.
Jayanto,
2014,
very
not
quickly,
2022.
Jayanto, what can Mamata Banerjee do now? Can she, in a way, haul herself out of this situation and show that she has nothing to do with what's happening around her?
No. Now she has realized that lot of actions should be taken. And you know, Mamata Banerjee, you have to appreciate one thing, that Mamata Banerjee is not Rahul Gandhi. Mamata Banerjee is the only politician in the state. I appreciate Modi ji, for the last 10 years, there is no corruption, no minister found guilty in the cabinet. But now when Mamata found one case now I think the plan of action will be more aggressive, more proactive. Maybe major cabinet reshuffle will take place. Major, induction and deduction will take place. Just wait.
Has she
and
realized
see.
that there are people around her who have perhaps...
Overhauling of the party also. Overhauling of the party
So
also.
she has recognized that there is something seriously wrong.
Yeah, because, you know...
Okay, let me leave it there. Let me leave it there, because clearly this is boiling over. This will not end here.
Yeah.
A final word, Justice Ganguly, 30 seconds to you. What would you say? What would your advice be to the politicians of your state?
I can't advise the politician. I am only worried about one thing. Now you see, it is clear that no teacher can get a job in West Bengal without bribing the minister. And those who bribe the minister and get a job, what kind of a teacher are they going to be? What kind of education they are going to impart? What will happen to the education, to the children of this state?
Well, we are told that Mamata Banerjee has now
political
assured
issues.
that there
I don't
will be a
know.
complete
I'm sorry.
rehaul of the recruitment system.
Rajdeep, but
This
Rajdeep,
is a...
since you get to interview Mamta a lot, will
Yes.
you ask her next time that her giving a clean sheet after the High Court
how
came
is
to
it-
verdict
how
was
is it-
absolutely
Okay,
wrong?
possible?
Shehzad Poonawala, okay, let's leave it there, sir. As
How
you
is it
said...
possible? May I just say one sentence?
Yes, sir.
One word.
Yes, sir.
When the learned judge was interfering in such appointment, she was commented upon by the ruling party very adversely. People have tried to boycott his court. Those who belong to Mamata Banerjee's party in the Bar Association of Calcutta, they tried to boycott his court. But the learned judge has done a wonderful job, I must say, as a former
Right,
judge.
and so
He has
we must say, has the
He-
enforcement directorate in this particular instance, because at the end of the day, these
Yes,
cash
yes,
hauls
yes,
reveal the grime that lies in our society, particularly in our political system.
This investigation has taken
Sure.
place pursuant to judicial order.
Let me leave it there. Thank you all very
What
much
is
for
the
joining me.
education scenario in this country?
I hope that this will result in a wake-up call for Mamata Banerjee and all our politicians who believe in a cash and carry political system.